Hey folks, I don't know how long I can maintain this feed here. We are currently amidst a big shift, as I just put out there. So timelines are fluctuating all over the place, but we're let's say going higher. So nevertheless, to try to keep this as short as I can, there's some things about on Facebook about people's accounts being closed. Have no concern with this because we are going higher on higher timelines and things like this you're going to see. So you stick together and it's all divinely taken care of. So there's no need for any panic on any of the stuff that you see. Just discard it. It doesn't pertain to us. We just keep going forward, and and I'm going to speak the truth that we cannot be shut down by Facebook or any of that stuff. And if it's divinely allowed to be, which I don't believe it will be, we have so many other avenues, and we keep connected, and the ascension's ascertained. We keep going forward, so no fears whatsoever. But it is funny because what you are witnessing is, as you were updated on perhaps a couple weeks ago, you were foretold of this time where timelines are shifting. There's many in play. You're straddling many timelines. There's all kinds of wonky stuff going on. So you guys had heads up on that, and um, the message I just put out was from Divine Council. Again, just reminding you that you were told beforehand about these sort of things. You knew what could be expected, and so no, you're always informed. So we keep going forward. Um, just to quickly recap, when I got cut off earlier today, uh, I was on. Let's see. So I was talking about the request, how amazing it is to be connecting with so many more of you and feeling the energy and the prowess of each one. I just enjoyed it so much, tears of joy at different times, and just feeling the love between us, the ones we were connecting with, and so many times the new ones, I just wanted to hug them and just not let go because of the love so much. What was we were feeling between us. I got tears in my eyes now thinking about it. It's just so beautiful. Nevertheless, so I will be putting out a little bit of general info. I put some out today, and again, this is for the teachers. If it's something new that they don't know, grab it. Or the new teachers, it is important. It is important stuff, for the new ones. But many of you, you've been teaching, and you already know these things. But there are new ones awakening as well. That this is beneficial for, and it expedites the overall process. So, you know, at the end of every day, the ascension is the priority, and everything that affects that we do, and there's so many groups out there, and you saw some what you could call maybe interfighting between the groups, but no, that's all been resolved. It's just that there were certain themes that certain groups were working on, and also there's also um, sometimes mechanisms that are put in there divinely for ones to confront certain aspects of fear that they need to confront so that they can go higher. So, for instance, trolls put in on your posts or whatever, they're just instruments, guidance instruments, and a lot of times they're put in there for your genius to look at and see, what these trolls are targeting. But it opens a doorway for you to share with the others, uh, the higher truths, and also to expose them for what they are. And it's so easy for you to do that. So whenever you see a troll on a post, you love that. You go right to it, right? And and anyways, I'll stop with that. Um, So yeah, throw off all your chains of restrictions, as so many of you are doing. You know, keep doing this beautiful job. It's all forward. There's no going back. Your ascension's ascertained, and we're moving very rapidly forward. Part of what happened today, I got called when I had to cut off the other live feed I was doing. Um, there was several reasons for that. I will not get into it. I received the information later, but it was, let's say at this time, more or less, I needed to be repositioned uh, for an important reason, and that has happened. Also, it, yeah, okay, we're still going. Also, you know, we're going fast forward here so quick. So I got many messages there. I know you're there. I do not know, let's say, when I will get to all of your messages, and I don't know if it's going to be required. What is transpiring currently, this huge shift that we may not have to do as much. It may be sufficient what we already have done. Um, I'm not given the full information, but we know that the galactics are here, you know, the ships are here. I'm not given full information in this conscious form of any dates or any times. But, you know, as all of you, you feel it's close, you want to go home. That's been the same, you know, theme throughout. So we can never put a date on it yet, at least from this conscious state, but we do know it's close. So we just keep going forward, keep doing what you're doing, and have no expectation on a date. You just keep going with all, and that's how we do it. Um, so let's see what I got here. A big part of what's going on, you have to detach the memories from the lower timelines, from your past. And if many of you just take a moment right now and reflect back on your life up until this point, just try to retrieve memories and just look how hard it is. It's like things have been erased, and that's for a reason, because you're letting go of that memory that's attached to that timeline so that you can go higher. So during this extreme process that, you know, there's nothing written on the planet more or less about it. You know, what is written is relatively new. It's only been coming out in the last few years. But during this process, what's happening is that you have to leave go of those memories, most of them, because what happens with it, if you don't, it keeps you attached to the lower timelines, and it does not allow you to ascend properly and proportionately. So that's why that's happened. A lot, you could say, a lot of memory has been erased, but that's for very important divine reasons. So do not be alarmed if you're getting what you think is a human disease, as Alzheimer's or whatever, or dementia, you know, any of those. No, none of those apply to you. That's not what's going on. And you're way above that, and you know it. But I brought it up again just for, you know, more clarity, so that you don't even go there thinking about it. It does not apply. Um, very importantly, the transition of the brain to you know, assist with your process and to expedite the ascension as well. You know that the right brain, the right side of the brain, has been the neural pathways going to it in your physical body has been reconfigured, rewired, and also new neural pathways. So you are no longer acting from the primitive left side of the brain, you know, the subconscious side or whatever you want to call it. What you have now done is most of you have also activated, not fully yet, but a very, let's say, a very handsome proportion, to a very handsome proportion, you have the right side activated. And this is also what allows your magic and your gifts and the access to that. and the access to the other dimensions. It goes hand in hand. So having said that, what you're also doing, there's sort of like a battle within the brain as well, because if you look at your right frontal lobe, let's put it this way, for example, if you look at your right frontal lobe as being in 5D and your left frontal lobe part of the brain being in 4D, then you can see the conflict. So what you need to do, and what you're doing, is suppressing that left side of the brain, the 4D. It's no longer required. You are going into the magic. So the right frontal lobe. And by also doing this mentally, you change your mentality. You know that the past is going. You change your mentality in the way that you act to things, the way you react. So what you wish to be doing now is acting in a way that is always positive, always within love, always within virtue. And what you wish to do is just let go of all of the old. It no longer serves. You are also at the point for no fear to be within you at all. There is really no requirement for that. Fear is a primitive, lower timeline, let's say, energy put in place for divine reasons. And, you know, one of those is to secure the lower human experiences. Again, you are above that, and you keep going higher, and you know that. And it's not to degrade anyone. You know that as well. It's not that way at all. And I won't go no farther on that point. Now, this RV, you know, the reset of the currencies and humanity, you know, the monetary, let's say, the monetary packages for the humanitarian projects. At this time, you know, I've never been given, in this conscious form again, I've never been given the confirmation that the RV would occur for us or not. You know, it did occur on one timeline for sure, but we're not on that right now that I know of. I don't, or we could be by now. I'm uncertain. But what I wish to say about the RV with divine council, what has been debated, if you will, or just passed forth the table for several years now, was there was more or less an option to institute the RVs or have the mass landing. So if you had the mass landings, then you don't need the RV. And that could be worked upon on the lower timelines that we leave behind. Because in the future, there is no need for money. And in this now, you know, upon the planet, there should not even be a need for money the way it is. It's absolutely primitive, and many of you know that because of you know, what you were and what you are in other times and dimensions. It does not play a primitive part of those other times, and that's why, you know, this money thing is always like, you know, it turns you sick to think about it and all the fears and the control that was associated with it. So, you know, that's part of the reason. But you're transitioning out of that. But to make that clear, I have no valid confirmation if we are going to experience the RV or not. That is this us that we're here now. So there is a little bit of difference with that. Why I say us that are here now about experience the RV, there's a bit of difference because it depends, again, what timelines we are on going forward, and also it depends on the soul contracts. So we'll see what happens with that. Nothing is definite, but I will openly say to you to see all the ships here, you know, and that being allowed to be put out to you through these channels and, you know, public channels. We have to consider that's very significant as well. So there is that possibility also for the mass landings on our timeline. There are so many timelines running congruently, so that's why it kind of makes it a little bit difficult. But the best thing for us to do is to keep the vibration high and just keep going forward without expectation. So, and that's very important as well. And when I say that expectation, let's just quickly jump back to the now. Like, most of you, or at least some of you, have jobs and things, trying to survive. With that, for the ones of you that know and this resonates, do not make long-term plans. And the reason for that is if you make long-term plans, you are, where you're able to manifest, you are restricting a part of your manifestation abilities, and you're restricting your ascension. Now, for instance, if let's say you have a career or whatever, and you're looking forward for 5 years, making money and all that. Well, no, you're leaving that type of a world behind where it's not the same as it was before. So what you don't wish to do is to have long-term plans, more or less, just be flexible. If you have a job, just keep working at it. But you're working at it knowing that, at any moment you might not need it, or you're not going to be there with it. Just try not to restrict yourself to a long-term plan. And that's with not only with jobs, that's with anything where you're going, what you were doing. Just try to keep everything as options. Like, just say that, oh, I'd like to go to the mountains if you never saw them before, something like that. It's best not at this time not to say I'm going to the mountains. Just try to keep yourself fully open and fully flexible so that you raise with everyone else, and that is the smoothest transition. See what else I have here. Okay, it's important also to watch your verbal speech. It may be unbeknownst to you, but sometimes you may say things that are misconceptions, that they might be a little bit deceiving, that they may not be the total truth. And now, I know this is getting very touchy, but you must also understand that your voice is an energy, and also it's a vibration that carries an intent, and you want that intent when it goes out, especially when you're assisting others and doing your divine work and interaction with others, you want that to be as purest as it can. And the reason for that is that you do not want to, let's say, be contaminating another with a sort of falsity. Now, this happens, on the level that you're subconscious to most part, but now you are conscious to it, so you can rectify it sometimes if you have to. If you make a statement that it seems like you think about it for a second, you say, no, that's not right. Well, just retract it and say, I correct that. Because we're talking about energy here, and energy keeps going, and it has the ripple effects. So you want to stop it right in its tracks as well. So we want to keep these things cleaned up. We don't want them to escalate. We don't want them to grow. We've been taking years cleaning up negative things, to get to this point where we're at now. So let's keep it clean and keep that garbage out of it and keep it cleaned up, please. So just be mindful of your speech as well. Yeah, okay, so the bilocation and multi-dimensional happenings, they are happening. As you know, there's quickly, for me, just surfing around, I am seeing, several experiences of it. Those are my confirmations, people that, and the way to define those is that it's the weird things, like where things will be missing, or let's say, you know, you're in a place where there should be people all around and there isn't. Your eyes in the sky, you know, a kind of an example as well. So um, these are also indications, you know, that you are actually jumping timelines. So these are your multi-dimensional abilities. And what's amazing about this, for you to be experiencing these, this means that you are taking the physical body to the other dimensions. And that's, you know, the biggest part about the ascension, to be able to bilocate and transcend dimensions in the physical vessel. So it's really happening. You know, these are your experiences, and you're seeing them from others as well. And those of you that didn't experience them, didn't acknowledge that you experienced them yet, you will know. You will know, and you are doing it. It's just that you know, a lot of you were doing it, just that you didn't know you're doing it too. So when things are a little bit odd, if you lay your keys on the counter and you turn around, get something out of the fridge, and you go to get your keys and they're not there, well, guess what? You just bilocated on another timeline. So go with it. It gets fun. So this is what's happening. There's nobody taking your keys. There's no spooks in the house. There's none of that. It's this is what's happening. So it's cool. Okay, I'm going to end it there. I've been rambling on here for, 21 minutes and 44 seconds. So that's great. I love you guys all. Things have changed for my divine work here, so I do not know, once again, when I will get to the messages. And I do not know when I will be on an internet or phone again as well. And we may not need them. Things may happen here so rapidly with what's going on. So the main thing is just keep going with the flow, and let's see what happens with this. You know, even the timelines with the indictments, you know, to be revealed as well. At this point, I'm uncertain in a way that I'm not given the knowledge that, you know, even if we'll be here to see that, that's only a feeling without tapping into all that I am, if you will. So let's see what happens with it. Keep calling in your ships and keep them here. It's very evident it's working, huh? You know, all the pictures we're seeing of the ships and everything else. So it's all very real, and it's real for us. We know it's real, and, you know, that's what matters. For anyone else, you know, if they're supposed to know it's real, they will too. So have no concern about that. Who's going is going, and, you know, there may be a few waves as well. You know, that's been mentioned by this, that, you know, there might be a first wave of ones that ascend and disappear from the planet, you know, and so we just keep going with it. We know it's happening. You got enough confirmation out to know it is real. So everyone should be at peace and should be kind of ecstatic and excited. I know I am, because, you know, it's getting close, and let's see what takes place with it. So I love all of you so much from the bottom of my heart and more. It's just, you're all totally amazing, and I got more of you to unite with, and, you know, I'm kind of a little bit excited for that. However it occurs, you know. So anyhow, I love you all, and have a beautiful evening, and let's see what happens. Thank you. Love and light. Bye. Okay. There we go. Had to give another wink, I guess.